Good afternoon, friends. My name is Prashant Ajmera. Now, trying to go online and live with respect to the how to plan for your child's education in 2020. We are all locked down in coronavirus in our house, but also many students has taken an exam for 12 standards, and parents are looking into the possibilities and worried about their children's futures. Many parents are also thinking about how they can plan for their children's educations. The parent wants their children to send out abroad for a higher studies, and they are considering the higher studies for the children in a foreign country as well. So here are my some advice when you are sending your child out or considering your child to study abroad. First of all, after 12th standard. So first of all, if you are considering your child study abroad after the 12th standards, one thing you have to keep it in mind is that send your child only to study in a university. Also, as you are already in a month of April, and probably you want your sender child to study abroad in September, you are running late because most of the university starts in September, and the admission process this starts almost 1 year before. Last year, October, November में ये चालू हो जाता है. So you are already running late. As you are running late, most of the parents, what they do is they're trying to go to the immigration visa consultant and agent and try to basically take an admission into a college, community college, or CJEP in foreign countries, in USA or in Canada, in Australia, and other places. My advice to them is that please do not take an admission into these colleges unless and until you think that that's the only thing you want to do it, because these colleges are only 1 or 2 years of a program. They are not very recognized. It's not a recognized education. So one should not study into these colleges because do you think that you will send your child to study abroad in a study in India in a polytechnic? If you send your child to study for a 1 or 2 days, 1 or 2 years in a college, do you think that they can get into the good job or they can make a good career out of it? So how we can think that your child, if he has studied for a 1 or 2 years in a foreign colleges, not in a university, but in a foreign colleges, and then they can become a very successful person in that country. So going to study abroad in a colleges, particularly in America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, UK, is very, very harmful, or rather, it's not a good career advice. First of all, we should try to do an admission only in universities, because when you're trying to do an education into universities, then only it is recognized and you will get a proper education, proper degree or proper qualifications. So most of the parents, the second aspect they should consider is that the undergraduate or the bachelor's degree education in university is very, very expensive. So if you are studying in a going to study for 4 years in a university, then at that university's 4 year education could be very, very expensive. So that second aspect parents has to keep it in mind is to study at the university for 4 years, and that's also at the university. So, for example, on an average, about $20,000 to $25,000 is going to be an average fee for a university 1 year education. So $25,000 multiplied into 4 years, so you are looking into 100,000, or about Canadian dollars is about a 55 lakh rupees. If you are looking at the American universities, then you are looking at to 75 lakh rupees. So, are you financially capable of putting 1 lakh rupees, 1 lakh dollars, which is equivalent to almost 75 lakhs for a higher studies? That's also we have to take into consideration. The third aspect is that also after 12, most of the parents are thinking that they want to send child abroad because his life would be set and he will be very successful. They should keep it in mind that it's not that. If your child is studying abroad, is not going to get an automatic immigration in a foreign country. So that things should be keep it in mind as well. But you have to study a relevant programs and a relevant education courses. You have to take it. It's not going to be automatic. Also, the parents should keep it in mind is that once they finish the study after 12th and 4 years of bachelor's program, the immigration in that country is not going to be an automatic. So if as well. Also, many parents and children think that once they study abroad, even though the cost is very high, they can finance the education by studying a part-time and also working part-time, and then they can finance the study. Well, when you go for a bachelor's program in foreign country, it's going to be it has to be a full-time study. So minimum you have to spend about 15 to 17 hours for a for your study. Plus, if you are looking for a jobs, traveling time and everything, so it becomes a very difficult for children to manage the work and study and then make a good grades or good education. So in that case, also the parents should also consider that financing going there. First of all, to find a proper job in foreign countries is going to be difficult. If you find a job, then having a job, full-time study, and then living by yourself is also very difficult to do it. Many parents are thinking to finance it from here, but as I said before, the parents should take into consideration the uh, the total overall financial aspect. So, what are the other options? The other options could be that you finish your bachelor's degree here in India and then you go for a master's. That's the one aspect. The second aspect to look at it is to finish the bachelor's and master's here in India, and probably you can obtain a direct immigrations. That is also another possibility. And the fourth possibility is which we are talking about is the parents would like to consider the residency and citizenship by investment. A number of countries are offering the residency and citizenship by investment. So these are the various things the parents should keep it in mind. They should not think that the study abroad and is the only way to settle abroad, and it's not only the key to a successful career in foreign countries. The other options are available, and those options parents should and the children should look into it. If the parents and children are not in a position to look into it, all this aspect, then it can result into a big disasters, disappointment, and uh, the lot of difficulties in the into foreign countries. It might also happen. I have seen number of cases when the children has gone abroad, studied, and then they could not get an immigration. They have to come back. What we're going to do and continue doing this one is uh, in the next 4 or 5 days, every day, 11:30 in the morning, I will go live and provide an information about the study abroad and the different aspect and different. So in the tomorrow and day after tomorrows, we are going to take into considerations what to do study after the bachelor's degree of 3 years, bachelor's degree of 4 years, master's thereafter, and then PhD. And then we're going to take into considerations and then talk about the particular type of education or specific programs that if you want to study, then what they should do it and how they should do about. Also, if the channel continues, we're going to talk about and also look into the colleges and universities and what are their gradings, particularly in Canada. So that's also we will do it. So once again, for the 12th standard students, if you want to study abroad, first aspect to consider is uh, financially there is no barrier. So you have lots of money. You are going to study not in a college but in a university. It is not going to be possible to find a proper job. The immigration after the education is not going to be an automatic. So all these aspect needs to be considered before you decide to study and settle abroad. And unless and until you do this aspect, it can result into an unnecessary lot of financial burden of finance and disasters and disappointment. Thank you very much, guys. That's all for today. It's only for 10 minutes. And probably I'll try to see you tomorrow at 11:30 in the morning. Thank you.